Hello. This is actually a take two. The first one was, I got a little emotional, and I didn't want to get to that point, so not to self-edit, but these are my diaries, and since there's nobody to make comments or complain, I'll just do whatever I want. So it's good to laugh. Franny, just lay down, please. Thank you. She doesn't understand who I'm talking to. So, as I was saying on the last video, because it's 2222 and it's a big friggin' deal, I wanted to do a video. But it's been kind of a rough day, so I don't know why. Maybe because, I mean, everybody's just like, it seems like a pretty idea where you're like, oh, 222, and oh, abundance and manifestation. And I'm mocking myself when I say this, so don't, I'm the same way. Anything that has any sort of synchronicity or beauty in that way, and I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. But you forget about the work that you have to put into it, or the work that's going to come, because 22222, it's supposed to be this magical portal, and there is scientific stuff to back this up. I'm not going to get into it now. But I hate my face. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be honest. I hate my face today. Not every day. Today. In this moment, I hate my face. And I hate my voice. Sorry. So, it is what it is. But you forget that these things come with lessons, and the whole point of these magical portals and stuff that's happening synchronistically, and actual radio waves from space, and the way things, the moon and the tides and all this stuff is all real. And I mean, you can say it's all hocus pocus and woo-woo spirituality, but there's actual science behind it. And I'm someone who is a real dichotomy too. I don't know how I exist, because I'm so cynical and analytical and childlike and hopeful and believe in magic. Kind of make that sandwich and see how well it works for you, because it's been kind of a rough journey. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure what I was thinking if I was in charge of any of the planning of this existence. And then, the voluntary amnesia, so you don't remember, because the whole point is for it to be a learning experience. An experience where you can feel emotions and love. It's all about love. Everything comes down to love. I don't care what anybody says, it's all about love. Being loved and giving love. So many people are like, I want love, I want a relationship, I want love. But I found more and more as I get older that I just want someone to love. Because the more you keep it inside and you don't share it with people, the more painful it becomes. And I think the flip side of love is something that kind of gets lost in the me, I need, somebody love me, and that's nice too. I mean, don't get me wrong, but for me it's about, I have no place, I have so much, there's not enough places to put it, and so it sort of creates a lot of static and pain, and you try and find things to funnel it into, but it's just never enough, because there is something special about that intimacy between one person and another person. Male, female, I don't care what color, I don't care what race. If there's something special there, if there's that connection, it really doesn't matter. Although the only regulation would be age. I mean, obviously, anyone for sure under 18 is not someone I can look at. And honestly, I would say anyone under 30 probably. And that's even pushing it for me. But I'm not going to, exclude anyone. I'm saying, minors and anyone so old that they don't remember their name. Maybe they're off the potential list. And I am, personally genetically drawn sexually to men. But I wouldn't rule out a woman. I believe it's possible that you could fall in love with someone and someone of your same gender when you haven't been attracted to them ever. But I wouldn't rule it out. Who am I to put, limitations on love? I just want good, pure exchange of energetic love. Healthy. But I'm my biggest enemy in that respect. Because even when I ask for it and I think I'm ready for it, when certain things happen where it looks like somebody likes me, I talk myself out of it. And honestly, a part of my brain, I swear, when I find out someone likes me, is already plotting a way to now not like them because they like me. How messed up is that? You wonder what's wrong with you that you would love me. I don't get it. Do you know how many years I've worked to figure myself out? And I still don't know what to do with me. I've come at it from every angle possible. And I still can't be sure. If someone showed up in front of me right now, I don't know how many booby traps there are that I haven't disarmed. So at this point, I would need someone who's so strong and unafraid, who would just stand there and say, I'm not going anywhere. Give me your best shot. Because I'll tell you what, I'm scared of me. I wouldn't want to inflict me on anyone. If I love someone, I think my mind would say the best thing would be to stay away from them. And that's not good. That's not good. And that's why I try to talk and help other people. Because at this point, the knowledge I've learned trying to help myself should at least benefit other people who aren't as confounding as me. I just think the best thing for me is to help other people. And but I mean, I still have hope. I mean, there's always hope. I hope that, I have to believe that there's at least one person in the billions of people on this planet, just one, that could handle me. Because once you get past that, whatever the booby traps that are left, whatever wall is left, because I've taken down a lot, it's at least weakened. I mean, it's not made of steel anymore, that's for sure. I've gotten a lot better, but there's still, anybody I've ever dated or liked in my life, I've been too much for them. And they end up quitting. Which, you know, looking back now, at least I can thank them for that, because I would have stuck it out, because that's just what I do. When I love someone, I commit. That's it. There's nobody else. I don't give up. I'll walk away if you walk away, but I won't walk away before. And even then, I'll put up a good fight. But at some point, you gotta let go. There has to be one person. One. And I have to be open to it. I can't be a specific person that I'm thinking of or hoping for or, you know, crushing on or whatever. That's the work that I have to do on my end. And if you're the same or similar to me, in the same situation, which I think a lot of people are, that you have to be open. And you can't have a specific face attached to it. Or specific traits. Because you, honestly, you really don't know until you meet someone. When that click happens, all those things go out the window. Everything on your list. Suddenly, who's standing in front of you is the list. It's like, reminds me of, I wish I could remember the name of it. It was a movie with Mel Gibson, years and years ago, where his face was burned, like half his face was burned in an accident or something. And there's this boy that comes and works with him, and, you know, drama. But one of the things was that the more the boy, I mean, everybody was afraid of him because of his face, like he was a monster, but as the boy was working with him over the summer or something like that, there was just one time where he was like, I don't see them anymore. Like, I don't see the scars anymore. And I think kind of that's true love, when you're with someone, like maybe you're like, oh, I want a tall guy, I want a muscular guy, he has to have dark hair, and oh, he has to have a beard, and I mean, these are all getting very specific, and it makes it very hard for the universe to, you know, fulfill that order. And honestly, you don't know what you want until you have it. You just want that feeling. You want that click, that energetic, you know, people call it chemistry, whatever. It's just, you're both at this juncture where, like, your energy flows exactly where they need it, and vice versa. And it's that exchange that's all that matters. That's all you need, is someone like that. I'm sorry, I'm freezing. Because then if you're like, oh God, he's, you know, he has a mustache, and I never wanted a guy with a mustache, or, oh, he's, you know, I don't know, he's not as toned as I was hoping. But when you find that click, all of a sudden one day you're just like, I really kind of like that mustache, or I really kind of like that you're the shape that you are. That stuff comes later, you know? And that's what I think anyway. What do I know? Clearly. But I think that's what part of today was taking a hard, cold look at, like, the crutches I've used and the ways I've hidden over the years, and there have been many. Years, not many boyfriends. Many crushes. But only a few boyfriends. I'm good with that, because that was enough for me. Um, I think it was just about kind of taking that box out, that little black bag of tricks, and finally like sorting through it and going, we're not going to do this one anymore. We're not going to use this one anymore. We're not going to go to this state or hide here or do this or eat that or throw ourselves into this project. And no, I'm just going to at least admit to myself that I'm sad. I'm sad I'm alone. I'm jealous of people that have someone. I'm jealous of people that are successful in what they do, especially creatively. Because that's all I've ever wanted to do, is share stories somehow. Whether it's acting or singing or writing. Mainly writing, it seems to go back to, but... So I'm jealous of other people and their success. I'm jealous and I'm upset with myself for the times that I didn't do more. But again, I can't dwell on that because there's no time. There's no more time for that. This definitely feels like stepping over a threshold today. I'm sad I lost my friend. I'm not going to hide that. I'm not going to repress it. I'm not going to carry on and, create a false sense of strength. Because that's not strength. That's cowardly. And I don't mean to, I know a lot of people use what they call strength to get through things, and sometimes that's a crutch you do need, but it's a lie. It's not strength. But that's what I was taught. And another thing I've forgiven, I've had to go back and look, and I've always said I've had a happy, loving family, and I was raised in a wonderful environment. And for the most part, that's true. But there were 7 kids. And that's a lot. And my dad worked all the time. So I think there was a sense of abandonment and neglect that comes with, there's just not enough time. There's only one person, one father, one mother, and 7 kids. 24 hours in the day, 7 days in the week. 365 days in the year. You can't squeeze out more time. So the time that they couldn't answer every single possible need that I had, which is not their fault, but that's still embedded in my... So these are things that I have to heal, but there's no monster in the closet that warped me or manipulated me or that I seem to have been searching for partially. Was something happened in my childhood, something that made me this way, but there's no deep dark secret. There's just no time. And part of me spending time alone growing up is what made the parts of me that I like, the parts where I can spend hours alone in my room reading or writing or just daydreaming. The things I think of you would not believe. I can have conversations with myself. I have potential conversations with people in my head so I can practice my responses. These are just things my mind goes through. And sometimes, yes, that's obnoxious. And I need to be with people and outside. But I'm making peace with that. Nobody did anything to hurt me on purpose. I can't imagine the things that I've done or said to my dollies, my nephews and my niece, that later on it's imprinted on them somehow. It might have just been something where I was like, hold on a second, honey, I gotta, I'm talking to your dad for a second. And that might have imprinted on him that no, nobody has time for me. This is just life. This is just, people are talking, there's things are happening simultaneously all the time, but you don't know what kind of an emotional impact it's having on you. But you have to, like, bring that out into the light and shake it and toss it and take away its power. Because the things you hide under your bed can only hurt you if you keep them hidden under your bed. Get them out of there. You pull them out, you shine a light on them, you look at them, you face it, and you go, alright, I can handle this. Maybe you cry, maybe you scream, maybe you get mad, maybe you pout. But you let it out. And I think for most of my life, I didn't. And I did what I had to do to survive. And that's what everybody's doing. And for the most part, that's acceptable. But we're entering a time where that's no longer going to cut it. I know you can feel it. Even people who aren't spiritual, or it's not religion, it's energy. You can feel the shift. Everything's different. And you have to change certain aspects of yourself to adapt if you want to survive. And ultimately, we all want to survive. Even people who have been suicidal, and I've discussed this on another video that I haven't posted, something I posted on Facebook that I've been thinking about posting here. People were discussing, at the time, a couple of celebrities had killed themselves. And everybody was shocked. And that's what everybody, 2222 was just on the timer. Everybody was talking about how they don't understand. Especially celebrities. How could they, how could they want to hurt themselves? And I explained my experience with it. And how I came to that point once. And what was going on in my head. And granted, I'm not a celebrity. But it was still something that I don't think a lot of people expected. And I tried to explain as best I could to people who don't struggle with anxiety or depression or any sort of social awkwardness. That it is not something that you ever really think you're going to do. And it's like something takes over your mind and your body, and everything goes numb. And you see yourself making these moves, like in my case. Getting a razor from the bathroom, breaking it open, and putting it next to my wrist. And all of that happened like I was a robot. And there was a part of me that was like an echo way in the back, screaming, "What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing?" And the rest of me is like, no, shh, I'm not going to do it. Shh. We're just going to sit here with it. It's fine. But you're terrified of yourself. Because suddenly you're the one who's like, the scariest one in the room. And how do you protect yourself from yourself at that point? So it was at that point that I started medication and therapy. I was able to talk myself out of it long enough until I could get to a therapist and get some help. And it's been a long journey since, because now I try not to be on any medications, or at least not, pharmaceutical company kind of things, because I prefer trying to research what's wrong with me biologically, genetically, because I tried every other avenue, and it just seemed like hormonally things were not imbalanced. And so I've been working really hard the rest of my life to try every sort of supplement, herb, and spice, that kind of a cocktail to help me, because it makes me feel better to use things that are a little more natural. But I don't, I don't condemn, any sort of pharmaceutical assistance that people need. Whatever works for you. But there's a lot more that I think can be done, research-wise, than just throwing pills down people's throats. Some people need it. Some people need it. Some people just for a short time, though. And it's better to explore every avenue of therapy, including a lot of the more progressive things. In my case, there was a therapist I loved in East Aurora. I wish I could go back to her sometimes. She did stuff like NET, where you kind of trick yourself into telling the truth. Like, instead of just talking in therapy, where you just don't, for most of my life anyway, I knew exactly what to say. To kind of put them off. And I'm going there for help, but my brain is like, don't tell anybody you're having a problem, just tell them you're okay and get home. Because it's hard to share. And you need a therapist, like, you need that chemistry with therapists where someone's going to be like, alright, F you, that's bullshit. Now why don't you tell me the truth? And that's rare. But I really liked her, Lisa. She used regular traditional therapy, but she also was open to any kind of, like, spiritual avenue, or any sort of, like the NET, like she would hold my wrist and ask me certain questions. And if my body responded, even though my voice was saying one thing, it was sort of like the body tells the truth, always. So even if your mouth is saying, no, I've made peace with that in my past, if something's happening in your body, it means you haven't. And maybe you don't even know you haven't. So I really dug stuff like that, that's right up my alley. So I loved that kind of therapy. But for everybody it's different. You never know what you're going to like. Some people use there's the red light, where you stare at the light and sort of go into a hypnotic state where you're asked questions. It was amazing. The times that I did that, those were pretty intense, because you think you're fine, you're like, oh, I'm just going to watch this red light, and whoop-de-doo. And then I'd be, like, bawling. And you're like, what the hell where did that memory come from? I don't know. But we've still just only tapped, like, the surface of therapy and psychological study. And, I just wish there was more that we knew or could figure out. And maybe part of this new phase of existence can help us get there, because I think with this shift in energy and the way the world is changing fundamentally, that one of the things that absolutely has to be included is people being more open to talking to each other and helping each other. And if you have something to say, like, I have all this knowledge from all this research I've done over the years for myself that only helped me, a certain amount here and there, but maybe the point of me doing all that research was to actually help other people. And instead of sitting here hemming and hawing and saying, like, who's gonna care what I have to say? I'm ugly. I hate my voice. Nobody wants to look at me. Nobody wants to listen to me. And yet, here I am, and I'm doing it. And maybe only a few people will ever look at it, if that. But I'm putting it out there. And I have to believe that means something. And even if just trudging along a little bit like this for myself, maybe that means other people are trying just a little bit too. And if everybody tries a little bit of something that they were terrified to do before, maybe that means we're heading in the right direction. At least somebody can help somebody out there. Because it's enough of being in the dark alone and sad. That has its place. It's an important part of the process. But I think now it's important for people that feel comfortable in the dark like I have. We need to face those demons and go outside and help people. And outside meaning however, either this way or creatively, musically, artistically, just showing up for people, for friends, for family, whatever. Put that light that is unique to you and only you out of the dark and into the world where somebody else can see it, even if it's one person. You're an important part of this process. And we need you. I need you. Because I struggle on this by myself a lot. And I'm doing my best. But it's terrifying. But I'm not afraid to say anymore that I want to be in the light. That I want to be loved. That I want to love. That I'm sad that I'm not doing that now. I'm sad that there have been people that couldn't love me. They weren't the right one. They were important in my journey. For me being who I am now, whatever that is. I have to believe I'm valuable. That something I do or say is going to help somebody. If it hasn't already. Because I'm still here. Which means I'm not done. And if you're here listening to this, you're not done. So you need to get up. And you need to reach out to someone. Anyone. Just to shoot a text to somebody and say, hey, start the ball that way. I'm not asking you to solve world hunger. But you have to let go of the pain that you're holding on to. And the idea of who you thought you were. Because you're changing. There's going to be good things coming. And you need to be a part of it. You are so special, and you don't even know it. And you need to risk your heart. You need to risk it even though it's probably going to get hurt again. And so do I. It's the only way out. I know it's hard. I know you might not be ready. But think about it, okay? And until you're ready, I'll be here. I'll be sending you positive energy. I'll be being hopeful for you. If you can't be hopeful for yourself. But maybe, if you could, be a little hopeful for me. Because I could really use it. Okay, I'm gonna go. I babbled on long enough today. I'm always here if you need me.